The transfer portal is buzzing, so let's get right to it. I got On3 transfer portal expert Pete Nakos in this video, and we're going to talk about some of these major developments that happened over the weekend. But first, On3 Recruit channel, we need you to be a subscriber. We're talking recruiting, we're talking transfer portal, we talk it all here 365 days out of the year. Do me a favor, hit subscribe. All right, let's bring on the great Pete Nakos. And Pete, we're going to start with a story that we covered last week, and that was wide receiver Evan Stewart, the number one available wide receiver in the transfer portal, was on a visit to Oregon over the weekend. How did it go? What are you hearing coming out of that trip?
Josh, I've only heard really good things coming out of that trip. From my understanding, Evan just went back to the Dallas area after he went to Oregon, which kind of is a sign that maybe the Ducks really did impress him. Mm-hmm. I've heard of Florida State, I've heard USC, I've heard LSU also, but none have really touched Oregon from my understanding at this point, and it's hard to not say that the Ducks are the favorite.
So could we be looking at a one and done here? No more visits?
I think we could be looking at a one and done. I don't want to overpromise, but it is definitely trending in that direction at the moment.
Wow. All right. Big news for Oregon fans. All right. Now let's talk about the top available offensive lineman in the portal, and that is Zalance Heard. Put his name in there only about 4 or 5 days ago, but he got to it, took a visit to Tennessee and Oklahoma over the weekend. Is there any more trips involved, or do you think he's going to narrow it down to these two teams and decide?
You know, some believe that he is going to narrow it down, but I continue to hear Ole Miss is really trying to make that push to get involved. Ole Miss has been in on almost every big recruitment this cycle, and Ole Miss really needs some offensive line talent. They pushed for Diego Pounds. They're going to get Gerald Mincey on campus, and now Zalance Heard is the next involved. The one thing to note that might be interesting, though, is Tennessee and Oklahoma, neither seem to have the most confidence, but both are also confident. There isn't one way or the other. It's really swinging at the moment.
So if he makes it to Ole Miss, do you think that those are going to be probably the three teams that are involved here, or could we even see her take this thing further?
I see it to those three if he does land at Ole Miss in the coming days. But yeah, I think Tennessee and Oklahoma are definitely in the lead, and Lane Kiffin is not going to go down quietly.
No, he's not. Let's see if he can even get him on campus. I know Tennessee, after missing out on Jordan Seaton, they are really looking for help on that offensive line, and they need it. We'll see what happens with Zalance Heard, but there's another interesting name that we're going to talk about right now, and that's running back Quinshad Judkins, and he is leaving Ole Miss. You don't hear this a whole lot. Star players leaving Ole Miss, but he hit the portal late last week, and he got on a plane, and he headed to Columbus for a visit to Ohio State. Are the Buckeyes going to land him, Pete?
Yeah, so confirmed with a source this morning that he was on campus yesterday. There's kind of speculation about it, right? He dropped the post on X last night that he was in Columbus, and then we verified he was there. So yeah, I think the Buckeyes are definitely in a really good spot right now. I know there's this kind of rumor mill right now that Alabama's in it, but I've been able to confirm with sources that the Tide are not looking to add a running back in the transfer portal.
All right, we'll see if Ohio State can close on Judkins. That would be a huge get. Now, another wide receiver, well, not another, but wide receiver now that we're going to talk about has been blowing up since entering the transfer portal, and that is CJ Daniels. He's leaving Liberty. Made some visits this past weekend. He was at UF, he was at Texas and Auburn, and Auburn's where Hugh Freeze is at. So what are we hearing on CJ Daniels coming out of this weekend?
I think the visits went well, but what I continue to hear from sources is that CJ really wants to be wide receiver one wherever he goes, and I don't know if that's likely at an Auburn or Texas at the moment. Oregon continues to have conversations with him. It seems like if the Evan Stewart recruitment goes well, maybe they might not need CJ. I also reported this morning that maybe it is possibly a long shot, but there is a slight chance that because Caden Salter withdrew from the portal, that CJ definitely has some interest in maybe going back to Liberty.
One quarterback I wanted to talk about, and that is UNLV QB Jaden Maiava. Now, rumors were swirling that Miami was involved because remember, Miami missed on Cam Ward, Will Howard, a couple others, but Maiava ended up at UGA and USC over the weekend. What is going on there with the UNLV quarterback that is now in the portal?
Yeah, I had heard rumblings that Jaden was going to be on campus at Georgia. Talked to Rusty Manziel. He's like, I don't see it, but Rusty got some clarification, and he was on campus for 36 hours on Thursday with his representation. and then he went back out west and spent the weekend at USC. I'm not really sure where things fell apart with Miami. I know that there's definitely interest from Miami, but maybe Georgia and USC just move so fast. I know that Miami continues to evaluate the quarterback position. But yeah, now you have two blue bloods really pushing for this talented quarterback, the Mountain West Freshman of the Year. Obviously, Lincoln Riley needs some depth in the quarterback room behind Miller Moss, and then adding Jaden Maiava to the Georgia quarterback room is also intriguing. Obviously, with Carson Beck coming back.
Mm-hmm. Busy week for you, Pete. Keep that phone charged because it's going to be some news happening. Thanks for dropping by the Inside Scoop. We'll talk to you later on in the week. Appreciate you.
You bet. Thanks so much, Josh.